So welcome everyone in this amazing circle. So you're seated in your group. We have group number 1 here and group number 8 here. This is the room arrangement. And online, hello everyone. We also have online members of the assembly. So hello everyone online. Hello. So these people will also have the chance to contribute and comment on the Citizens Charter in the next steps. It's going to be really exciting. The other thing I'm going to ask is that the one person from your group who volunteered to say one sentence, maximum 1 minute about your next steps, you would ideally sit in the front. All right. So we have correct. Number 2. Yes. Number 3. Yes. Number 4. 5. 6. 7. Ready. 8 is ready. 9. The person speaking is ready. And 10 is ready. Beautiful. Now I'm going to return to... We ready? So, in the beginning of this moment in which we will hear from the different implementation steps from all the group, we will of course first look again at the preamble. Because what happened is that over the course of yesterday and today, some groups also had the chance to make some adjustments to the preamble. You will be able to read the preamble in your own time on the online platform and in all the documentation that we will send you afterwards. But we do want to acknowledge that the preamble is a collectively written document at the beginning of the Citizens Charter. So if I can ask you to pull up the preamble for us, so we can look again together at the incredible beginning of the Citizens Charter. And we're still on the trees, waiting for the Citizens Charter to arrive. And if you're an online participant, you will be able to see the newest version on the digital platform that I'm sure is linked in your Zoom chat right now. Hello, online participants. So as we can see, we have 143 online participants with us. So we can say again hello to the online participants. Hello. Incredible. And the truth is, right, quite some people online might be people that you have met in Athens or in Florence. So these people are people that have been with us on the journey. So can we see now the beginning preamble of the Citizens Charter to revitalize democracy in Europe by navigating future crises? So you can see here the digital platform. So we won't read it now together because we're going to spare you the long read, but you will have the chance to hold for a second. Amazing. So here we have it. For the online participants and for people in the room, this is the newest updated version at 11:18 today. This is the newest version of the preamble. So it's had been really long work. Calypso, can you say again how many people have been working on this in the drafting committee?
Well, all of the 300 members of the assembly provided input in various ways, which have been integrated together by the wonderful drafting committee, which we introduced yesterday. So thanks again, drafting committee.
All right, and now we turn to the really exciting part, into the learning about what the next steps, what the implementation parts of the Citizens Charter are for the 10 pathways. So we will in a second turn to each group and you will have the chance to introduce your next steps briefly in a minute. And then we have the chance to hear some comments from the audience as well as from online. So you can either contribute online by posting in the chat or by directly commenting on the digital platform live. So we're doing an incredible hybrid setup here, as well as introducing the digital platform. If you in the room have not had the chance yet to take part in the digital platform, this is your chance. So I'm going to hand the word to Andrea to introduce to us how can I, maybe if I want to, after today, I still have a burning question. So I still want to contribute to the digital platform and the Citizens Charter. I can actually, until Friday, still make comments online, right? So Friday is your last time to use the platform to take comments. And as we can see, we have plenty of comments already going in the chat. All right, Andrea, it's up to you to introduce to us how the platform works.
Thank you, Jana. So as you can see, in fact, let me first, apologies for that. Let me first share the QR code.
I think you should lift it.
It's a bit big. So with this QR code, you should be able to go to the platform, also for your phones. The platform can be operated on phones and any other digital device, including your laptops. And you will see, and I go back to the homepage so that we all get a sense of what it looks like. This is the homepage of our digital platform. And we are today, and for the whole year, we have been in a traveling assembly. And under the traveling assembly, you find all of our sessions. Yeah. So Athens, Florence, and Vienna. At the top still, you have a tab that's called Charter. And that's where we are headed now. And that's all that you've worked for. And that was just showing before. So here you'll be able to see the updated version of the preamble. And I am scrolling down quickly because we then have a page for each of the sections of the pathways you've been working on in these throughout these days, and before that online, and before that in Florence, etc., etc. So here we have the fourth part of our discussions, and the one you've worked on this morning, which are the next steps. And by clicking on these, you can both see what the charter says in terms of what the next steps are, but you can also endorse here on the right side. There's an endorse button, and you see there's already an endorsement, and you can follow all the updates that will be posted. For example, here you can see there's already 5 comments, so the section is being populated. And we'll continue to discuss, as Jana was saying, until next Friday for each of these sections. Now we can then, of course, go through each of the next steps for each of the 10 pathways. The last point, however, is that you can see I am logged in here. If you haven't signed up yet, please do, because that is the way in which you can edit and add comments to the platform.
All right, now we are all tech savvy and ready to do the platform. And for the online participants, if you have not found the platform, I'm sure you find a link in the chat. So you can also access the platform and comment live as we speak. We also have some special guests here, and Calypso will introduce them.
So before we go really deep and continue our homework collectively, as Andrea and Jana just presented, we want to also connect with very much and hear the comments of our friends on Zoom. It's amazing. We're seeing all of you on a Sunday from Florence, from Athens, and from all the other countries that haven't come. But before we even do this, let's remember that we're asking, where is this going to go? What is this all about, this charter? And we want to stress to each other that the charter is, first of all, a message to the broader publics, the broader citizenry of Europe, all people living in Europe, and maybe beyond, if people in the rest of the world are interested in what we're doing and we can work with them. So this is going to be a living charter. Yes, the comments to change the principles is still Friday, the next step, but then people can continue to comment, your friends, the movement. So this will be ongoing. And yes, it will be therefore a kind of space, a democratic space of the democratic Odyssey. But at the very same time, we have a vertical. This is horizontal. This is us. This is the we, beyond us. But we also are passing on the message to authorities, to governments at every level of the EU. Many of you have spoken already about how you want to do things locally or nationally, but indeed also to the European Union institutions. So we will be promoting this charter to EU institutions. Some of you will remember how Commissioner Suica endorsed the Democratic Odyssey, said that the Commission was following closely and with enthusiasm. We have many MEPs who have come in our conversations at different times. Those of you remember in Athens, we had Christos and we had Christina and we had George. You remember those of you who were in Athens, yeah? And in Florence, we had former Ambassador Nardella, Mayor. We had the Mayor of Florence, Mayor Fiesole. We had George Papandreou. We had the Greek municipality, etc., of Athens. So we have officials at every level. Today, we are very, very lucky to have with us a very high-level representative of EU institutions who has worked in the Commission for more than 30 years, who has been ambassador of the Commission in Slovakia, his native country, who has been the head of the big think tank JRC, or organization, which actually is the bridge between academia, thinkers, analysts, etc., and official organizations. And he's here today, Vladimir Sucha, because he was also in Florence. And so you are the continuity of our work with the EU institutions, Vladimir. And I'd like to ask you, before you see with us what we have produced, how do you react to this preamble, this charter, and what do you want to do with it? Vladimir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Calypso, and good morning to everyone. I had the privilege to be in Florence in this fantastic gathering there. But the gatherings are important. But what is even more important is what you do, because that we know, and you wrote it in your preamble, that we are facing and we will be facing more and more crises, because we have our life, our society, our technology is exponential. So it's very likely, or we can say 100%, that we will have crisis, and we don't know what kind of crisis, and we don't want that these crises are leading into non-democratic society. And this is actually, we are on a good pathway, and I'm very happy to be in the European University Institute right now, working with them on the impact of artificial intelligence. And I can tell you, it's quite threatening also for me, what is happening and what may happen if we are not building the wall against this. And the wall is not real wall, but the wall must be done in our minds. So it's the technology, what is ahead of us is changing our mind, is changing ourselves. So it's not like the other technology. So I think that we need to work, and I think we need to have a regulation, we need to have institutions, we need to have a government, the European Union institutions. But first of all, we need to be resilient as individuals. And I think that this is the building the resilience of democracy also in the future. So that's why it's so important, because it's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. Because as Calypso said, EU has 460 million of people, Europe even more, and the democratic world, billions of people. And I think this is very important to test and pilot how this can be done. And I think that you have done a fantastic job. And I was reading the preamble, I was reading the first draft of these steps. And I think this is exactly what can be followed, what can be improved in the future, of course. But I think this is a nice blueprint how to do the citizens' assemblies at the national level, at the regional level, but also at the EU level. And you know that EU is trying this. You mentioned Vice President Suica. He was behind this Future of Europe initiative, which involved many people. So this is so important that we know how to do it. And I will do my utmost to bring it to colleagues in European Commission, but also in the European Parliament, or eventually in the Council Secretariat, to show and to demonstrate how important is this and how this can be used in the future. So then good luck with this. Many thanks to Calypso and the fantastic team around, but also to you. You have done a great job, not only over a few days here in Vienna, but also before in Athens, in Florence. And I'm sure that you will become the ambassadors of deliberative democracy also for the future. Thank you.
Wow. Vladimir, thank you in the name, I think, of all of us, really. And to know that you're listening with great attention to help us make all of this happen and make our charter alive and make a difference at the highest level, as well as with each other, is super exciting for all of us. So we are, and I'm sure our friends online are too. And so now for the hard work of going through the 10 pathways.
Yeah, let's do it. So I just want to invite you for a tiny moment before we go through the 10 pathways and look at our incredible work. Take a deep breath, right? By yourself. Right? Maybe like clap yourself on the shoulder a little bit for the incredible work that has been gone into this, if you like. Really important. Feel in your body in a second and like really feel like, right? Remembering yesterday, centering ourselves. We've been in this circle now for 2 days, but actually for many traveling moments with each other in our bodies. How are we feeling? Feeling like some excitement? Are we feeling a bit tired from yesterday? Are we feeling nervous for our presentation? Whatever feelings you have are welcome. Feel into your body and let's go into this moment of presenting the parts and commenting on the final moment to comment on the Citizens Charter now. So how it's going to happen is we're going to go to the first group and then we're going to open the floor and Calypso will open the floor to hear maybe 2 or 3 comments or contributions from the floor. And we'll see if we also have some comments or contributions from either the Zoom room with currently 126 people or from the digital platform, right? So we're doing it inclusive, radical inclusivity, online, offline, and in person. So let us move then, in that case, to the first motto. And I will read the motto and then I'll hand it over to group number 1. So the motto of group number 1 was, being involved is also our responsibility as citizens.
Could we make it bigger?
That I can make it bigger.
Okay, no. Okay, I don't know it by heart, but
we'll wait a second
okay.
And see if we can increase.
It would help me very much. If not, it's okay. It's fine.
Group number 1.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Okay, so I can start with the motto that we basically had. So the motto was to start locally, and we kind of worked with that through 3 points. And the first, what we established is that we need to develop or design a toolkit that is inspired by all of what we've done today, to help people who will be our ambassadors, or we call them local ambassadors, because right now we're all ambassadors, but we want to establish a new kind of network where people who want to do more and who want to establish a network in their local cities do so. And for that, we need toolkits because we want to make the life easier of local ambassadors. And the toolkit basically has to involve the why and the how. So why is it important to have local ambassadors? And how do they actually do that? To put it now in short, because I only have 1 minute, I think. The second point was exactly to work with that network. So if we have at least one local ambassador, in the member states, then they can work to form a community of like-minded people. We could go to schools, we could go to organizations, work with them and make it bigger and more intertwined, because this is Europe and this is our spirit that we're trying to show. democracy is not something national based. It's worldwide. It should be worldwide way. Exactly. The last point, sorry. How do we want to do that? We would really love to be sponsored by Erasmus or something like Erasmus for participation. We had an idea to call it Demos. Of course, please, you are all welcome to work on that. And this would be the funding of maybe meeting once a year with all the different local assemblies in, for example, Vienna, and we all come together and have one big assembly like today. So yeah, we have some comments, and maybe we could look at them. And exactly, maybe they have more points and are more clear on what we are trying to say. Thank you, and sorry for this chaotic.
Group 10, can we have group 10 wave? So group 10, we're going to listen thank you so much to, sorry, 1. Thank you so Group 1, thank you so much, Theo. We joked about, I mean, we already have 5 comments. We may have a little competition of how many comments per pathways at the end of today. So please just go and comment or endorse on your phones. That would be brilliant. Now let's hear, I would like to suggest to see if we have any comments on the Zoom call first, because after all, you're jumping in our process. You're going through this wonderful set of pathways. Please raise your hand, anyone on Zoom from Florence, Athens, or anywhere else.
Because we're in a webinar, so I'm going to read the comment from Roman Eschker, writing, is the plan to have the local ambassadors connected to local municipalities? I mean, to have a connected to official authorities.
So if somebody else from the group 1 wants to reply, you have other voices. No, you're hiding. Okay.
Number 2.
Okay, Thea.
I mean, we had the idea to work with a political sphere. However, we've heard through experience that this sphere often says, yeah, it's really nice what you're doing, but they are not doing anything. So we try to go around them and start from the bottom and work our way up. And if we have a network in schools, organizations, businesses, we will most likely have in some days, some weeks, some months, reach also the top. So yeah, we're trying bottom to top.
Okay. Yes, if possible, but not necessarily. In the room here, I mean, Jana, you want to continue? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we can have maybe one more.
Yeah, one more.
The next one.
Do we have one in the room? Comments or questions? But comments, this is not necessarily about Q&A, but if you want to add or build on it. So we all really think about each of these pathways as really happening for real. What will it take? Any other comments online that you want? There's some in German, so that might be a...
Okay, there's another comment. Actually, maybe I just read the comments. I like the idea of ambassadors. A good plan. Will it be voluntary? I see some nodding in that.
By the way, all of you online who are asking questions, it would be really lovely if you put them in the comments on the digital platform. And in fact, you might want to answer your own question, because we are all here just making suggestions for the debate, because what is democracy is a debate. So please online, say if you think it's voluntary or is it like jury duty. We don't have all the answers, right, Theo? We only had a day and a half to discuss. So, of course, we had all the times before in Greece and in Italy and online. So all of this should be a debate. So I think, thank you, Group 1. And
amazing. So we move to Group 2, and I'm going to read the motto, so you don't have to repeat the motto. No, I'm not going to say the motto.
No, because we have a new proposal for the motto. Our motto was before, no taxation and no spending without participation. But like our proposal right now is our money, our choice. That's why I didn't want you to repeat, sorry. And like we made concrete recommendations on 4 different areas. One area is information. We need to inform people about how the taxes are being spent and like how the budget is created in a simple and accessible way. We need to educate the people in order for them to be able to understand what is going on and to make, decisions that are a little bit more coherent. Number 3 is transparency. We need to be able to understand what is going on, and the data should be accessible in a very simple way that people can understand it. Otherwise, it's impossible for them to make decisions. Fourth area is participation. We promote the idea of participatory budgeting through committees of volunteers that will, propose ideas on how to spend the money in a certain areas at local, national, and European level. This is what we had in mind. There is also a lot of other things, but I think 1 minute is gone.
So, are there any comments from the audience? Calypso will pass around the mic, and we see if we
want to
actually
pass
no
around the mic?
comments on the platform. And let's see if anyone in the audience would like to comment.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Actually, I like the idea of participatory budgeting, but I have to say that budgeting should have been based or should base on strategy. So budget, first you have the strategy, you have the strategy goals, and then the budgeting. Of course, this will come from top down, and obviously citizens can contribute to that as well. Thank you.
I think it's a nice comment. I'll just very briefly reply to it. The idea is that there will be a portion of the budget that will be given to the decision of the people. So that's the strategy. As in Vienna, there is a 1 million euro that is given to the young people that they can decide what they want to do with that money. And that's their choice. So that's what we propose fundamentally. I don't know if I reply or make sense.
Thank you so much. Okay, so for the comments online, we will really encourage you to write your comments in writing so we can read them out here in the plenary. All right, with that, I think there's currently no comments on group number 2. Thank you again, group number 2, and we can move to group number 2.
Yeah. I think, Jana, we need to ask each group to let us know, because you will read your new motto if it's a new motto. So, but
Fantastic. So group number 3, do you have a new motto? Or can I read your motto? Okay, your motto is nothing about us without us.
Nothing about us without us, Akim?
We will
be both of us. So Akim and Zuzana. About education, majority of that was already mentioned by the first group, so we might skip it. And we will move to the synergies, which we think are really necessary for process to bring the charter to the life and force. So first thing is we need to include all the sectors, and all we mean all. So this is only a list which is not complete. We need to include also perspectives which are outside of Europe, also to include transnational citizens and avoid Europe-centric view, because there are inspirations in other parts of the world that are really beneficial also for our part of the world. And we also defined some roles for consortium and its members, and how to build up the list and adressars to group resources, contact lists, roles, fundings, and so on.
Thank you very much. And yeah, the third point, advocacy and legal. So the idea that we had is that where we can go with this charter is the first thing we can establish the working group that would consist from the representatives of the assembly and experts, basically legal experts, policy experts, research experts, that would then be focused on EU level advocacy. After establishing of the group, they could work on the research and find a way whether the European Commission or European Parliament would be, what of these options would be more suitable for the campaigning on the EU level. Yes, I see you. The idea is basically to get the EU level legislation that would be imposed on the government, on the member states regarding the civic participation. And the other path would be the establishment of the People's Assembly on the EU level, like we have here today, but as an EU institution that will be with rotating membership. Yes, and just the last part. Oh, there is no last part, actually. Oh, local assemblies. Yeah, here I see. Yeah, sure.
So one of the ideas that might maybe spark some energy and motivation and inspiration is to make local assemblies recommended or mandatory parts of, for example, titles like is European Capital of Democracy, but not only, but also Capital of Sport, Culture, Ecology, Youth, and so on. Because there is a budget, there is a will, and it will be nice synergy again to put it all together nicely to work.
Wow, thank you so much. We see how many bullet points you've generated. Group 3. Comments in the room or online from group 3? Nothing about us without us. So, anyone can comment. Yes, please.
Berta. I found it really interesting, your idea to have these like European capitals of youth culture, etc. And I was even thinking that potentially these could be somehow linked to the European commissioners that you have in the same subject. So I just think that's a cool bit.
Thank you so much, and link between themselves. Online, Jan?
Yeah, thank you for the endorsement. Online, there's currently no comments, and Günther and whoever else is raising your hand online, please share some comments in the chat so we can read the comments out here for time purposes. As we can see, there is a comment on the group before, but the comment will also be shared on the digital platform. So I think we can move to group number 4, if I'm not seeing any comments in the chat. And group number 4, have you changed your motto? No, the motto is educate to anticipate. 1 minute, I'm gonna raise my hand if the halftime is over from now on.
Thank you. We had the idea to educate, to anticipate. We managed to get a lot of bullet points ourselves, but said to just have a list is not enough. So we condensed all those bullet points in 2 parts. Which one is the educational system, and the other is community and places for that. And the educational system should be, from our side, first of all, reformed. There should be a huge reform on the and I lost the word on the educational system, because we have in Europe a lot of different educational systems, different levels, different steps, and this should be a little bit more unified. Focusing on democracy, focusing on discussion, on debates, and so on, and that should be also that should also involve all the governmental parts, all the other societies, and so on. And giving over.
The second measure that we propose is community events that are held both in person and online through a platform, in order to engage and educate the wider public. So this includes people from all ages, also not just focusing on cities, but in rural areas as well. And the idea is to promote a culture of discussion.
Thank you so much. Group 4, wave your hands.
Wow, thank you. There is this rather very challenging proposals, because it's about mobilizing around Europe. And all of our proposals have this character. There is a will for opening the microphone online, but we can't technically do it, it sounds like. So please write your comments. We are still ongoing with a competition on comments already in the existing proposals on the digital platform. You can even comment on your own group, because that will then be integrated and analyzed by others.
We do also have a comment here from Ariet. Ariet is writing, education is crucial, unification. And then there's a comment in German, which is asking, can I also answer in German? And ja, Sie können auch gerne eine Frage auf Deutsch sprechen. And we speak several languages in the room, so we are able to also read questions in other languages. All right. And any things from the floor?
Any comment? Any other? Yes, one last comment on group 4, and then we move on.
Thank you, Calypso. I think it's great work. I would just suggest to start as early as possible, because already in kindergartens and elementary institutions, there is a lot of value in learning about other cultures and democracy and values of community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan.
And we move to the next motto, I think, with that. Can we see the next motto? Motto group number 5. Have you changed your motto? Yes. Well, then it's on you.
So just waiting for Natalia. So.
Julia.
Yeah. So, group 5, we changed our motto to the collectivity and self-organization is our power. Actually, it's here already, but that's been changed since yesterday. So, what we want to do is just like group 1, to promote in-person meetings and to have ambassadors go out on their level, on their local level, to find more members, and also to try to reach up to local officials and to get them to do something. The next thing is
we will also connect our offline meetings with the online platform, so we can reach the constant and organized communication between communities and the locals, and so they can find what problematics they have, what they have in common, what differences. So people from different communities across Europe can find the best, the most optimal solution for their problems.
So after we have a local solution, and after we have we have an online network to connect those solutions, when we got the attention of a local official, we need a deliberative space to connect our group with these officials. And to find a space, and this space, that's something we need. There needs to be room either by the municipality or that we get money for that. And last, do you want to do education? So we need to educate through kids and through peer-to-peer networks. We need to educate. We need to advertise this new form of participation. Thank you.
And sorry. And we can also connect our education. We can provide our education through the platform, so it will be all gathered, and people can not just connect, but also educate and see the ways how they can perform and do democracy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Any comments around the room, additions? We always come back to the local, and we have comments also online. So thank you so much. Group 5, yes? Theo?
I would like to add. I would also like to add that inclusivity is important. We have to make sure that all minorities groups are proportionally represented in this form of participation, and also ethnic groups and should take an active part.
Thanks so much. We also have a comment from Uschi Fröhlich online, who is writing, do you know the ALA project of Marina Weisband? She works with schools on self-efficacy and democracy. So a great comment here online as well.
Thank you very much, because indeed, if you put your comment in addition on the platform, others will enrich it and draw on already existing initiatives that we can spread the word.
Right. Thank you so much. Group number 5 again. Thank you, group number 5. And group number 6, have you changed your motto? Yes? All right, then group number 6, it's on you.
So good news, we're half through, but the next motto was like really, really tough one. I know everyone had tough topics, but migration, we had really long discussions on what the legal background is, and we changed our topic. So it says, if people move, democracy must follow, but it's not updated yet, but it's if people relocate, democracy must follow. And we also suggested that for improving this topic, actually people who have migration background, asylum seekers should be involved, because it's kind of weird for us to decide on their lives. So first we changed the title. We said that we actually changed a lot of the principle. So that was actually the part of yesterday. Full time we actually go through the text and rephrase it. And also today we still had to do that. And today we had like 15 minutes to come up with implementations. I'll try to sum up. So we have citizen assemblies, but we want to have, even though it's really hard, we want to have voices of migration, of migrants, of people who are moving. We want to have them in the general assembly or of the citizen assemblies. We want to have lower administrative burdens for migrants, because we know that it takes a lot of time. It costs money, not only for the migrants, for moving people, but also for the state itself. Then we want to have some feedback loop mechanism where the institutions, the instances where migrants, moving people have to ask for a visa, etc., asylums, they talk to each other, because that's not happening right now. Then we want to have, because people are migrants and asylum seekers especially are always sometimes depicted as worse than they are. Okay, that's a weird phrasing, but you know what I mean. Media is not completely fair, let's say it like that. And we want to have some authority, who is like a watchdog to them. Then next point would be where you only one thing, no matter where you are registered, when you pay the taxes at some place, you have the right to vote there. And welcome package and onboarding for democracy. So education system, somebody mentioned that before, and a kind of ambassador that was also mentioned in the first part, where people feel represented. So I'm summing up. Yes,
so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to already read out one online comment, then we can come to the room comments. So the online comment is actually disagreeing. So again, we obviously can also disagree on what we're writing, right? So feel free to also put your disagreement in the comments online. Mariam is writing, of course, if people move, democracy never must follow, right? So maybe someone does not agree. So I'm just reading out that comment, and now we can leave it to the floor.
To the floor, other comments and comments on the comments. There is a tension here. Please, let's remember that under each of those pathways, we have that general principle, which can be also revisited. And we have a section which says tensions, where is there disagreements. So please feel free to go and comment, and online too, to show your disagreements also in the tension part, because democracy is about disagreement too.
And we felt those tensions in our group also. So it's a really hard topic, a lot of emotions inside. And we really try to make it more clear within the principle. It's not updated yet, but with the new phrasings, we try to really make it more clear so everyone felt represented in the principle.
Thank you very much, Group 6.
And again, Group 6, you can see had 9 comments online, so feel free to read the comments later on. And we go to Group number 7. Is it your motto change? No. Well, then Group number 7. The motto is coming up. It's almost a drum roll here. The motto is coming up, and the motto of Group number 7 will be transparency is non-negotiable. Group number 7.
Hello, everybody. So we were speaking a lot about transparency, and we thought it's actually difficult to pinpoint what exactly transparency is, who is doing that. But at the same time, we have a clear feeling when something is transparent, when a political process is transparent. We have a feeling of trust when we understand the decisions, we understand the process. And so we believe it's a very important topic that underlies a lot of other topics here, and came up with 4 recommendations The first one is about culture. And that goes back to that difficulty to pinpoint where exactly. We believe it has something to do with a widespread culture in the population, in the political part of the people who are active politically. And so our suggestion is, first of all, to work on a culture of transparency through education in the schools, but also education of adults and also of civil servants and politicians. Second one is about learning. So learning from current best practices. There's a lot of work happening, bringing together all this learning that is already happening and spreading it transnationally across Europe, also through a body, potentially a European body, that can facilitate this and can also have and should have a participatory aspect. Third point is about media. So media having this particular role of mediating and communicating and bringing information from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. And so about promoting and protecting journalism, and in particular, investigative journalism. And our final recommendation is about corruption. So an issue that is very real and very present in a lot of European countries. And we are proposing here to have more oversight and more resources to bodies that monitor and prosecute corruption, and in particular to have a longer period of monitoring, so a kind of long-term accountability of all people who hold public office. I think that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Group 7. Thank you, Group 7. The message, let the sun shine in. Absolutely. Comments online, comments in the room. Transparency is non-negotiable.
Hello, everyone. Person working in Transparency International for several years speaking. I will go against myself, but let's think about it that transparency will not save us all in every aspect. There are things that need to be not transparent, like army budgets and so on, for obvious reasons. And I will just leave you with the question, would it be okay that amount of your salary will be transparent for everyone in your country? Because in our country, when you are applying for a job, you at least see the minimum of the wage. But think about in the bigger picture, what happens in your teams if everyone knows how much and who is earning. Thank you.
Right, a challenge here.
Thank you very much for the comment. And we did debate a bit the question of what if everything has to be transparent or not. Also, transparency is being used sometimes as a tool, actually, to go against some particular group of people. So there's a question of sort of protecting rights and about sensitive information. It's also, we were, I think, agreeing that it's not about exposing everything, but it's about oversight. And we believe there can be effective civilian oversight, effective citizen oversight, also on sensitive topics.
Thank you so much, Group 7, Transparent Group.
We move to group number 8 on this regard. Group number 8, did you change your motto?
No.
No. So group number 8, your motto is care is at the heart of democracy.
Yeah, so we talk about how care affects democracy, and we changed the principle a lot. We did a lot of work on that, and we began by thinking of like what care really means and what it means in democracy, and we discussed that it is empathy, communication, and equality.
Okay, and the main things we added to the motto, to the principle, is that the care is an action, appeal in action, not in talking, but in action. And it starts with listening, because if we don't know what's the problem we have to tackle or what the needs are, it's difficult to take proper actions. And we then find out the 3 layers of care: people to people, people to institution, and institution to people, because we said that it's important all of them to be underlined. And people to people, we would like to have support and promotion of volunteering work, and to promote such and support maybe from the authorities as well, with some budget or some promotion that the people could organize themselves and help themselves very fast and faster than sometimes than the institution. We want to have in the level of people to institution. We was discussing. It was a nice discussion about with the people from Austria when they started such a project, that to set up the transparent platform for constructive feedback from the people to institution. And it's not that the platform which is not they put something and they get backwards the answer. And the second is institution to people, that we recommend that the EU and national regulations offices should put such a, let's say, umbrella law to force, or to just maybe force is too strong, but force the using of such assemblies as a normal way of work and make decisions.
Well, thank you also, Pavel, member of the drafting committee. Thank you to both of you, but also to the whole. And I just would like to point out that there is an amazingly beautiful poster for Group 7 on care, 8.8 on care, which you can all look at here. So much work to even define what care is all about. So thank you so much, Group 8. Is there any comment online or
so we have here the comment that was just disappeared from Margaret, who's writing, did you also consider new forms of housing that would facilitate care, like communities where people are of all ages live together?
Well, short answer is no, we didn't consider housing, but we did consider social care and healthcare workers, that they would be respected and paid accordingly.
Amazing.
Because we cannot put everything, all the needs can appear. So in our work was that the needs, and we have to find out different ways what the needs are. If there will be need of housing, okay, we have that should be follow the actions and take care about it. If it with another one, with another one. So we will not shrink this to the literary.
You couldn't consider everything, but the comments are exactly about that. So thank you so much to both of you and to Group 8 for this amazing work.
And group number 9, did you change your motto? No. So group number 9's motto is harness technology, unleash collective intelligence.
Yes, we discussed that today technology can be manipulative and antisocial because it's practically controlled by private interests and disruptive powers. So we came up with 5 steps. The first step is to educate in order to raise awareness and answer to critical questions. The second is to create an AI office, which already exists, but we thought that this office should be more representative of the European citizens, and this office should be responsible of creating an AI tool that avoids biases. The third step is to create an antitrust regulation so that companies cannot hoard functionalities. Then we discussed data protection, which is really important for us. And we came up with the idea to constantly review the already existing legislation in order to become more adaptable, and in order for this legislation to promote also innovation and fundamental rights protection. And lastly, we'll discuss the sustainability of the AI technologies. And regarding this topic, we discussed that all processes involved should be done with renewable energies, and this action should be paired with a stronger regulation so that AI should be 100% sustainable. This is what we thought.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone wants to add from the group, comments from the room? AI, technology, and democracy. In the online.
So online, we see a great moment of deliberation as we have one person. We have Ariette say, we have Mariam saying, tech manipulates the care, so devastates in some conditions intelligence. And then we have Ariette responding, I think the law that we have is comprehensive enough. So we can see deliberation can already happen in the chat, so will continue to happen online. Calypso. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Lovely.
Yeah, there's one in the back.
Just wanted to tell you that in the framework of the European Capital of Democracy, Vienna, there has been a conference called Safe Technology, where all the municipalities of Austria were invited to share with businesses also, and the other way around, new ways of harnessing the power of the people in terms of the deliberation. But obviously there are many, many dangers involved in this as well. So we need to work on this constantly. The city of Vienna will do a second conference next year. And I encourage, since this is very often, there is a language problem there as well, to do this kind of conferences all over Europe on the national level, because I think we can still frame what kind of technologies are being used in this respect.
Thank you so much, Alfred. And it speaks to the fact that our charter will be a living document also to spread the word of what is done in one place in another place, which cannot necessarily be adopted in the same way, but will inspire other people.
Incredible. We are coming, you won't believe it, to the final motto of the day. Have you changed your motto? No. So the motto is, not everything has yet been invented. So up to group number 10.
Group number 10.
Thank you. So yeah, we keep the motto, and my wonderful group came with some conclusions about whether the Citizens' Assembly should be institutionalized. And yes, we agreed, but yeah, we really had a debate whether it should be only on the EU level or the European level. So taking into consideration how many people live in Europe and work, and people from all around the globe, we decided, yes, to have some certain participation conditions as a first step. So yes, people can participate, but usually people who reside in the EU. Then we also focus on the funding issue, because we know it's still the EU budget is constrained, but in a way, if we want to have this certain legitimate, we should have this certain funding, and the budget should align with the current EU budget. Also, we discussed about organization. Well, that organization has many aspects, but yeah, one of the certain things is that to have this citizen assembly with headquarters that will take in person every year, and the one topic will take 1 year, and then with certain procedures and rules, we will also have a managerial board that includes academia, experts, citizen representatives, so on. Well, our point is just to have this transparent and legitimate process for all. And just to mention, I think it's really important to say about the topic who will decide about the topic. And since we want that to be like a crucial and common work, besides not just the citizens, but also the EU, then we decide to suggest we have EU institutions that suggest the topic, but citizens are definitely the one who could add and have the final word about the topic they consider important to discuss on. So I hope I wasn't confusing a bit, but yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Group 10. Thank you so much. We are coming to an end. We are seeing this charter under our eyes in real time come to life. So I would like to point out to our friends online, to start with, that of course you are virtually with us in this circle, but we feel your presence. In fact, we all hold little hearts that we had yesterday to speak about the presence of the absence. You are absent physically, but you are with us, and we very much value all the comments you can put, which will have two lives on this charter. Some of them will actually be suggesting changes, adaptation, amendments. And by the end of next week, we will make these amendments. We will incorporate them. But let's not forget that the comments are also to make this a living charter. So in the weeks to come, months to come, maybe years to come, because this is an Odyssey, comments will continue to flow, and you can encourage your friends and networks to do that. But in the meanwhile, the charter in its main outlines will be promoted. And Vladimir, we're so happy that in the name of the institutions, you're listening, you're taking notes, and you will carry it forward. So I really suggest that we give ourselves, our friends online, members of the Assembly and our network, and ourselves here, a really great round of applause for what we've done.
All right, thank you so much. Now, of course, we still might wonder what are the actual steps happening next? How can I get involved? How can we get involved to make the change in the next moments, the next weeks, the next years to come? So I'm going to hand it over to Nicolo to tell us a bit more about that now.
Good. Thanks, Jana. Thanks, Calypso. You've all done a huge amount of work this weekend. Hundreds of people have done a huge amount of work over at least a year. But if you think about all the preparation of this Odyssey, years and years to get to where we are right now. Now, last night, I told you that, those of you that were there, that you are founding members of the Permanent People's Assembly. That goes for anybody who's online that's been involved in Athens, in Florence, and the other occasions of this assembly as well. When I said that last night, shortly after, various of you were dancing with each other. So maybe this is a magic word to give you some energy for this last moment. But also, we're going to talk about now what we do when we leave this space physically together. And in a certain sense, we need to continue to dance with each other at a distance. So let's try and keep this image in our minds and think about how we involve more people in the dance in a certain sense. So you've heard that there's a week's time in which comments can be taken into the charter to reformulate what is a comprehensive and long document that we can continue to build on over this year. I'm going to tell you about 3 ways that we suggest that we can build out from here and campaign and bring other people with us. And you're going to have some time to think about how you're involved in doing this over the coming year. The first one, also to show the people online, is that there's already a campaign page for the Democratic Odyssey, if we're able to put that up. It's coming. But there's already a possibility for people online on our website that we're going to see to sign up and say that they support the idea of a Permanent People's Assembly. And we can build a public communication campaign around that. Maybe that should turn into something like a European Citizens Initiative, where you can collect 1 million signatures to go to the European Commission to call on them to do things. Maybe there should be other ways in which the campaign and all the people who say that they support a Permanent People's Assembly can be amplified and used. And so we're going to have a discussion about how it is you can be involved in doing that in one of the corners of this room, after I've told you about the 2 other ways in which we can build some follow-up to this. So the website is coming. I'll tell you about the second way that we can follow up. Look, here comes the website, just as I move on. It says campaign at the top, so you know which one it is. And there's some text here. I believe if you scroll down, there's a possibility of people saying that they're wanting to sign up to support this, to continue to be involved in the journey. So this is the kind of thing that can be sent out. We can do comms campaigns on social media, elsewhere, in the media, the rest of the media. So we can have a discussion about campaigning to the general public. The second way that has already been mentioned is to enter into dialogue with the institutions. Right? We're super fortunate that we already have members of the Commission or representatives of the Commission here with us, and along the journey, various decision makers have been involved. But there are some more formal things we can do to consolidate this dialogue with institutions. Here's two suggestions. The European Parliament can accept petitions as citizens. So we could use the Charter and make it a petition to the European Parliament so that people there discuss it with us. A second suggestion is already tomorrow, there is the deadline of a consultation that the Commission is carrying out for its work on defense of democracy. There is a commissioner who's responsible for that, Thomas McGrath. And my suggestion would be that we submit the draft charter already tomorrow so that it's there in the Commission's files, and we have a basis then to have ongoing dialogue with them. Perhaps there are further ideas about how we could be in dialogue not only with European institutions, but with national institutions, local institutions. So we want to have a group talking about that. And third, and in a way most importantly, there is the follow-up that we can do to bring these principles to life as citizens, as civil society at our local scale. There are people here that I've met over this journey that are involved already in organizing assemblies in their communities, or with civil society organizations that are already doing things, individual activists, et cetera, et cetera. So there's everything we can do within our own powers to bring forward the principles of this charter and make it come to life. So we want to have a third corner which can focus on that. So these are three kinds of pathways that we can follow to bring this charter to the next stage. I want to say something also about how we organize ourselves beyond that, so that the assembly continues to be able to deliberate. Maybe you want to say something about one of the third one.
I would just want to add a couple of points from Nicolo's three ways. In the campaign and in the relating to European institutions, some of you have suggested that we actually write a European citizen initiative, which would be the very ambitious goal, because as you know, it requires 1 million signatures, and then it would be implemented, or there would be a kind of a soft obligation by EU institutions to implement it. So this is something to keep in mind for the longer term. If we feel we have the energy, motivation to do that, it will be in your hands. That's the first point. And the third is on the third category that Nicolo laid out. That is something on the platform that we call planting democratic seeds. And maybe, Andrea, you can show it, because we really hope you can comment there. Planting or growing democratic seeds. And I just want to relay the fact that our members in Athens and in Florence, some of them have already been trying to start this process. In Athens, there are 7 neighborhoods, and the idea is that some member of our assemblies work with the municipality to do it more systematically with random citizens. Of course, these municipalities consult, but perhaps not in the systematic way that we believe. And so the members in each of the cities can organize themselves, and we will help this process, and we have been doing it, to push things forward, to plant these democratic seeds. Similarly, in Florence, we were in fact discussing it yesterday. We also will organize the members so that you can then yourself in Fiesole and in Florence continue the work if you wish to do so. So please do go to Planting Democratic Seeds on the website and add your comments, and we will help make this a reality in these different cities. But of course, many of you also don't come just for Athens and Florence, you come from all over Europe. So this process can happen through the members too, and we want to stress that because we're still in the journey. Okay, so the corners will now happen
with the following instructions: that we're going to go into 3 corners to talk about, if you want to be involved, more involved in the campaign, more involved in the dialogue with the institutions, more involved with the local embeddedness, civil society action, planting the seeds. We'll be in 3 corners. Here's 2 important things. One is, you're all founding members of the Assembly. Over the coming year, everybody who wants to, has the time, who has the energy, should be involved in carrying forward this charter in each of those directions. And so we're going to want to collect all of your ideas, your names, your suggestions in those 3 corners about how to do that. Of course, over the year, you can be involved in more than one of the things. It's not, it's not exclusive, but we have to divide up now. The other thing I wanted to tell you, though, is that in order to organize our work, our suggestion is that some of you volunteer to be helping to coordinate the activity in each of these 3 areas of the follow-up. So we're going to have 3 hats. Someone has given me a hat. I don't know whose hat this is. Thank you very much. It says "Take it easy" on it. I will try and live up to that later on. But for the moment, I'll use it to collect some names. I believe there'll be 2 other hats in the other groups, which Vienna's gonna have. And if you are willing to commit to helping to coordinate this process over the coming year, in following up on the campaign, on the dialogue with the institutions, in the local embeddedness, put your name in the hat. Everybody can be involved in doing this, but these people are volunteering to help to coordinate it. So there's some clear, responsible people. And as is a bit of a tradition at Democratic Odyssey, we're going to randomly select 4 from each group, so there'll be 12, who take the responsibility of doing that. As I say, of course, everybody can be involved, but these people are taking some responsibility for helping to coordinate it. So I hope that is clear. I suggest that people who are interested in following up on campaign go over to this corner. People who are interested in talking about follow-up to dialogue to institutions go to that corner. And people who want to talk about local embeddedness, civil society action, citizen action, come to this corner. And we take 15 minutes to collect ideas for you to put your names in your hat. And then we're going to come back here. There's a question.
A clarification question. When you're talking about a commitment to organize, then what is that commitment? Like over a year, or like 10 hours a day, or what is it? Take it easy.
That is a very fair question, which I think I don't have a recipe, but clearly it's going to have to be realistic about your availability. I would say that we're talking about maybe helping to organize a monthly meeting online, and perhaps taking part in one other meeting. Because an important thing that I wanted to say is that you won't be alone as members of the Assembly in this process. There's a whole constituent network of the Democratic Odyssey. There are other organizations that are involved in putting all of this together: Citizens Take Over Europe, European Alternatives, and others. And so I think it's about committing to organize an online meeting to collect information about what everybody is doing, and perhaps coordinating with a couple of other organizations so that they're in dialogue.
Actually, let me just add and clarify that we're not alone in this. There is a crew, and perhaps the crew here could wave their hands again, because we did so at the beginning, but the ship has temporarily landed. So crew, led by Irene, and thank you, Andrea, too, on the digital side. So There is a crew and will continue to be a crew. You've heard the idea that there is actually a consortium that is a group of organizations. It's all on the website supporting this process. And very importantly, Nicolo mentioned a constituent network. We also call it Friends of the Assembly. This is about 500 people who have signed up to follow everything we do. Some of you are following us live stream. So hello, Constituent Network. Hello again, because you were on the Zoom, some of you. And they have been shepherding this process for the last 2 years. This is the group of people who, through many discussions, initially came up with the topic that we started with, leaning and inspired by your own personal experience. What is to change in Europe in managing crisis, in navigating storms? What should citizens do about this? This was the network. So the very important point is you should all join this network. Some of you have done so, but not everyone. And you will be informed very relatively often on what is happening. Now, this committee, this council, will then be part of the constituent network, speak with the constituent network, interact, and try to also enlarge the network. So our great, great mission, here we are on a flotilla of ships. Your mission, friends, your mission, members, founding members of the Assembly, is to make a huge flotilla. Imagine many ships on the Mediterranean, in the river, on the Danube, on the Arno, joined by new ships as we go along. So that is the message.
Very good. Last remark before we're splitting us into the groups is for the benefit of anybody who's still listening online. We will also have the possibility of members of the Assembly who are not here physically present to volunteer to be part of the council and each of the groups. And we'll do a separate selection for that. But we're going to choose 12 today to be in the council, but everybody is going to have the possibility of taking part in following up on this process. So without further ado, 3 corners, campaigning, if you're interested in that, over there. Dialogue with institutions, you're interested in that, over here. And local follow-up, citizens' assemblies, etc., over here.
So we have this really powerful final moment now together. And before we have the chance to go to picnic lunch and chat more, have delicious food. But now we are coming together for the final moment to one, pick from the hats. I'm still missing the third hat, which is there. Pick from the hats the people who will be on the Citizens Council. And then we have time for some thank you words. And we will have time for an open mic if you want to speak one more time in public. So we are now closing all together. And in a celebratory manner, can I ask 3 facilitators to hold these hats with me so it doesn't look so... That's okay, so we have these 3 hats in the center of the stage, and we're going to ask Irene to come up, and Irene will pull the names. Just a moment of acknowledging that, thank you all so much. You are all going to be part of course, this process. So even if you're not chosen, you are very welcome to contribute, and you are part of the assembly. Irene.
Yeah. I hope my hand is innocent enough. So I'm not gonna look. When I need issues. Woo! For it. Yeah. Which group is local? Local. Okay. So for the locals, please give me, I don't know, some sort of excitement. Yeah. And the first person, thank you. The first person for the local group is Bamba. Where is Bamba? Bravo. I'm putting it in my pocket. Second name. Stay here. Oh. Fast. Ah. We have Andre. Oh. I got Gensi, Quito.
Here we are.
Yes. Just bringing, the women's energy here. Oh. Victoria Bartova. Oh. Where is Victoria?
Here we are.
Nice. Great. Second group is this hat comes from campaign. Cool. So for the campaign, I'm going to use my left hand. And now give me some excitement. I got Julia Lankman. Second name. Alexis Rosos. Varga. And the last name from this hat. Oh. Andrea Dosa. Beautiful. Our last hat is the group Dialogue with Institutions. Okay, so the ones that might be wearing suits. Right hand. Beijing Thank. Oh. Where is Pavel? Ah, there's several. Sroka? He's already dressed up. Oh. Josephine Ebner. And the last name from this hat, and this time we all gonna warm it up, is Diana Kolarski. Thank you. Thank you all. So with this, I'm looking at Yana.
Can we just say that these hats still have a lot of names. They're not going to be lost because this responsibility will be by rotation. So at some point in time, we'll come back to these names and we will also have names from our online friends.
Thank you, Calypso. I did wanted to repeat the names. So we have in planting local seeds, Bamba, Andre, Jensi, and Victoria. For the campaign, Julia, Alexis, Anna, and Andrea. And for the dialogue with institutions, Beisie, Pavel, Josephine, and Liriana. Proud. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And our amazing Citizens Council can sit down again, remember their faces, but also, again, you will be part of it. We're taking a quick picture. Calypso? Taking a quick picture. I see. Emergent, quick picture.
Nice and warm internet.
Also imagine now the other online people behind this, right? The virtual room, other virtual citizens, people in the council are also in the picture and will be published soon. All right, and you're invited to sit down again. Thank you so much. And of course, all of this assembly would have not been possible without a lot of people taking part in the planning and production of the event. So before I hand the microphone to Irene to share some more thank yous with you, I just really want to give a big hand to the thank you to the crew, the invisible care work, all the labor that has gone into this event, specifically to Irene Alonso herself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to do this. I wanted to tell you a bit more about the behind the scenes, what actually happens for all this to take place. And I was thinking where to start from. And this morning I was not having any time, of course. But there was a person that has usually accompanied me in these sort of like hectic moments, and is an author that I really like. Her name is Ursula K. Le Guin, and she's written a lot, particularly on feminist science fiction. She's fantastic. But there is a specific book that I really like and perhaps has been a bit unnoticed. In English, the name of the book is The Wave in the Mind. But in Spanish, the title of that book is Contar es escuchar, which means to tell is to listen. This title completely caught my attention when I bought it in a bookstore. And this title is perhaps the preamble to thank the first group of people here, which are the ones that are listening to you and trying to put everything together. I want all facilitators to stand up because they master the art of listening. Thank you. Thank you. And the facilitators cannot work if there are not note takers there to actually take every single detail that happens in those discussions. So the note takers that are here, please stand up. Thank you. By the way, the note takers are all volunteers coming from different universities, even from Florence. So they're also traveling. There's another group of people that I really want to thank today. And this group of people facilitates one of our biggest principles, which is radical inclusivity. We couldn't be radically inclusive if we wouldn't have interpreters here with us. So the interpreters stand up. They've done an incredible job. And I have to say that, you know, through the process, we sort of like mastered the art of how to do interpretation with so many different languages. We are still in the process of learning, of course. Not everything is perfect, but we're getting there. We're getting there. There's another group of people that I really, really want to thank. And this group of people is our connection with the public. On Friday, we got some people saying, wow, I just like found out about social media. Your graphics are amazing. And I'm like, Noemi, Francesca, Elisa, all the comms team, Max. You've been truly, truly amazing putting us out there. This cannot happen, of course, without production, logistics, catering. So another round of applause for the food. There's a special mention I want to give to those that have taken deep, deep care of the members. And I'm gonna ask you for another round of applause to an amazing person that has been holding everything together, Teona. And there's also observation in this room. So another round of applause goes to Anora for managing the observers. And with this, I'm going to introduce you to my partner in crime, Andrea. Where are you? Andrea is the scientific mind. Yeah, there's many scientific minds, but you know, Andrea just like compliments me on the shoes that I cannot wear. This couldn't have happened, of course, without support. And specifically for Vienna, we have had amazing partners. I want to thank, first of all, Erste Foundation for providing incredible resources and making us being able to actually put all of this together. So kudos to Erste. And I also want to mention the European Capital of Democracy. They've been the partners, they've introduced us to the terrain, and they have guided us through, you know, the ecosystem of Vienna. Stefan, there you go. There they are. And of course, I want to thank the FH University of Applied Science. We are hosted here. They've done an amazing job at opening the doors. So thanks to them. And of course, Festwochen, Wiener Festival, they have provided the venue on Friday, and they have also brought a lot of different connections, particularly the ones with journalists and different press that has been around. So thank you also to Festwochen. And this is obviously only for Vienna, but there's much more support that is overall happening. And for that, I'm going to pass it to Andrea.
Thank you, Irene. And another round of applause actually for Irene, please. Excellent job yet again. And I think, you know, we've started in Athens, Florence, all of the online. We're now here. We have learned so much ourselves. And I think it has shown in these 2 days. And so, again, a big thank you to everyone. It feels a little bit like the end of I'm hoping, a good movie where you're looking at the credits. You kind of want to close off the laptop, but you're still looking through, listening to the music, you're remembering the movie. So let's try and keep it very short. But by the way, this is not a movie; it's a series. So this is end of series 1. Very important, yes. But I want to thank everybody who has accompanied us since the very start. In fact, before the start of the assembly, and will continue to also support us in many ways. So first of all, those who have been involved before the Democratic Odyssey even started, with the UI SDG Democracy Forum. So the scientific minds, many, and what that led us to, which is having this constituent network with alumni citizens and practitioners, civil society, and academics all coming together and helping co-design what we're now experiencing. And so I think a round of applause also should go to them in a way, even if some are in the room. So let's give a round of applause to them. And at the same time, you can join the constituent network. And some are already members, for example, looking at Jamila. So you can help us think about what we've learned in this process. And also as part of the campaign, of course, but also if you want to contribute, to the field of how do we design assemblies in general and your experiences as alumni citizens. Where to start and how to be brief, more importantly. Consortium. We have a wonderful consortium of 30 plus organizations. Where many of them are here, not all. They've all helped, supported in many different ways, also in co-design, but also in providing expertise. And it's all shown also here in these 2 days. So big thanks to them. And Irene has indeed mentioned all of the local partners, but perhaps taking also a step back, looking at the whole process. Since the very start, we had many organizations and also foundations and the European Commission that has supported us intellectually and practically. So a big thank you to the European Union, which is co-funding. Weber Guren Institute, Erste Stiftung, and Savia Foundation, who's actually here with us today. And so a big round of applause. And perhaps also, I would also like to thank again all of the staff, not only the one who's worked in these 2 days, but everybody who's been with us since the very start of the journey, and maybe is even watching us online. So I want to thank everyone. It's been a collective effort, and a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of weekends have gone into this. We've all been super motivated to make this happen. Perhaps a few hiccups here and there, but just know a lot of passion went into this, and we're really proud to see now this taking this ship, taking sail and with the wind in its sails, but now being also co-owned with you in the campaign part. So thanks to everyone again. And in particular, also Max, who's holding the camera, have done extremely great, fantastic work in these days. With an incredible range from contributing to the substance to doing all the tech part. And thank you. And thanks, everyone. I think that's about it. Actually, we've mentioned who has coordinated the observers, but also let me and us thank the observers who have been with us for the whole journey, who have also given us feedback throughout the process, also within the constituent network. And the feedback has been very precious, and we hope you have observed something that you can also percolate elsewhere. You can draw lessons from, also criticize constructively, and move forward together, advocating for a permanent People's Assembly. So thanks, everyone.
And before closing the assembly and taking a nice group picture outside, the last words of this weekend should belong to you, the members of the assembly. That's why we would like to give you now the chance to maybe reflect some thoughts that you have in mind over your journey that you have gone through the last weekend, the last months, the last sessions. So if any one of you would like maybe to share a few thoughts or short feedback to what has it been like for you? How did it felt? How do you feel now? We'd be happy to just hear some people. So no specific question, just whatever you have on your mind. We'd be happy to hear it. So basically you can take this microphone if you'd like and say some words to the rest.
So I was a member also in Athens. I wasn't in Florence. So in Athens, we had to communicate our fears and what crisis we think that Europe is experiencing and will experience. It was a bit, how can I say it, melancholic in Athens to discuss only for crisis. But I think coming to Vienna and having a beautiful team, I think I have now a positive outcome. I'm more optimistic about solving the problems that we highlighted in Athens. And this is really important for me to continue and find a purpose to push the charter to others. Yes.
I would like to say many, many thanks to all of you. How nice you are to a new person like me, all 3 days. And Calypso allowed me to say that I'm allowed to form a picnic corner because I would like, if somebody is interested to hear about a really, really worthwhile book, not written by me, that's perfect, easier to tell about the book. I have also written an article on a professional newspaper for it. It's really a good book to explain, to show how we can manage with other persons in arguing and in crisis, whatever. Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, it shows the 5 steps of mediation, really easy explained. 2 persons heard it just. And also the attitude of mediation. It's so easy to show, and perhaps somebody's interested to see with the colors red, yellow, and green. Thank you.
That's during the picnic.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyone else would like to share maybe his or her thoughts? We have one more here.
I just want to thanks to everyone. It was a wonderful experience. Also been there in Athens, and I think we come a long way. Just want to say something really beautiful that you shared in our group. It's a quote by a band called the Sterne. Yeah, we don't have to do anything the way we know it, just because we know it the way we know it. Or how do you say this in German? Oh, it sounds even a bit more complicated, but yeah.
Wir müssen nichts so machen, wie wir es kennen, nur weil wir es kennen, wie wir es kennen. We can think out of the box and we can change everything. Yes, thanks.
And maybe you can also briefly say your name at the beginning.
Okay. I'm Theodore Rizos. I want to express my gratitude to these people. Especially some of them are really distinguished academics, and they should try to succeed in their careers. But we see that they don't do that. They just care about us. They care about people, and they want to give us a voice to make things change. And that's very admirable. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was a substitute for a colleague, but I'm happy to join this meeting.
It was really very nice. And because I have done a lot of research on assemblies, etc., I was really wondering if this assembly is representative, because so many people are so nice and you can talk to everyone. This cannot be a complete picture of the society, because you know there are other peoples around us. So I doubt a little bit. We have to clarify it afterwards how you selected the persons and if they are really representative. But it was nice to work with you. Thank you.
Someone else? Maybe a last word? Last thought? Yes.
Andreas, actually, I want to say a big thank you for the Odyssey trip to everybody, to the captains, and to the sailors. Well done.
From an observer point of view, a big thanks to all of you. I was born the same year was created the European Community. And looking at all of you and living the experience of this democratic Odyssey, I can say today that Europe is really different than before, and the diversity of people living together here, it's something that really pulled my heart, because I always have been loving the idea of being European, to go further of the idea of being Italian. And now I'm more happy than in the past, because I love this Europe, and I love to find in people living together in Europe so many point of contact, so many caring of each other, so many emotional experience. So thank you, everybody.
Very beautiful words.
Thank you. Yeah, lots of gratitude to everybody who's been organizing and involved. And then something we have here, I felt, and my neighbor here just mentioned, there are some voices that are definitely not here in this room. I think in Athens, there were more Muslims and more diversity. Also, far right is missing. I really want to talk to these people. I don't know who they are, but everybody should be in the conversation. And yeah, we're living in a time where there's a genocide happening. So free Palestine. Thank you.
Yes, please.
A last one from my side. You know my name already, I think. I hope so, at least. I'm Andre. I started my democratic journey about 8 years ago, when I was fed up with the Austrian politics a little bit. And I had my Odyssey, really was going up and down, and landing here is quite a good step and quite a good feeling. And for those who need contact to Muslim community, to middle right wing communities, let me know. I have that. I can provide some contacts, and if you want, I'll try to make them aware of such meetings and to join them. But for many people, it was the hurdle was a little bit too big, or it was too short notice. And but I'll still try keeping getting them on board and joining our journey.
So, anyone else?
Thank you. I've been participating in Democratic Assembly in Athens, in Florence as well, here in Vienna. I'm very privileged. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I would just say thank you so much for organizers, that this assembly really touches the humanity of the people, as well as the process goes through the creative side as well. So we are grounded as a humans, as well as sort of through the arts. we bring out our creativity to work on the tough issues. And I hope that Europe has a bright future and we're going to get stronger and stronger to make hard decisions for our future. So thank you so much.
Okay, then you wanted to have one last word, Calypso?
Well, yes, because Gesine spoke about picnic corners. So this, and what we wanted to say and what we talked about is that you can, if you would like to create a picnic corner, to speak with Sarah about, how do we include extreme right parties or whatever, create your own picnic corner. Create also, we talked about it in the breaks, your own mini podcast, members post podcast at the picnic, 1 minute podcast, which we can upload on the digital platform so that we hear voices, not just in writing, not just everything we have taped, which will be shared, but mini podcasts. We just walk for a minute and interview each other. We will really bring them together. And this speaks to the fact that we are indeed on an odyssey. And what does the word Odyssey invoke? It invokes the fact that this is a journey we don't really know when it stops. Maybe it will never stop. Maybe there's islands along the way that you rest with your companions. But you will go on. Even when you get home to Penelope, then you leave again. That's what Ulysses did. He didn't stay with his wifey that long when he got back. But he took 20 years for the journey. So it is a very long journey. And in this journey, you have many stories. And these stories can be tough because sailboats have actually headwinds, tempests, where you don't see the beacon anymore. You're not even sure what you're doing. There are islands of sirens and monsters. It's not absolutely, Sarah, it's not an easy world to journey through. And we need to take that in. So that is the metaphor of the Odyssey. And the final element of this metaphor is that an Odyssey is made not just of one ship, but of a whole flotilla. You are many ships already, and we will be joined by other ships. Who knows? We don't know where they're coming from or what the color of their sails are. So this is what an Odyssey is all about. And talking about sails, we do have sails. We have various sails with the beautiful handprints and messages that you've already put on. We have bottles with messages. So we have stories that we will be sharing. And in doing so, now for our last moment, I'm going to pass on the mic to probably Uri or Jana to take us with our ship outside to capture this last moment. And in thanking Petra for having already captured some of it on a beautiful drawing that she will share as we walk outside to take the last picture. So thank you, everyone. It's been, I'm going to cry. Amazing journey.
And thank you to Calypso.
So some of you were in Athens. We had a closing ceremony in the Pnyx and we were sailing. Who was in the sailing in Athens? Raise your hand in the Pnyx that moment. Yeah. And some of us were singing with Stefano in Florence. Who was in Florence singing from the balcony with Stefano? Okay. So now every time we create a ritual, and we also do a photo. So we're going to do our ritual and photo outside in the sun because we've been inside for so long. And the ritual will have, it's very simple ritual. It has only two parts. One, you're going to help us carry the sails. There is one here made in Athens and the other two, including the one the Viennese added to from Florence. And there is the scribing that tries to capture something from our conversation, and you can look at it and it will be shared. Also bring your hearts. So just your physical hearts, but your gift hearts, because we will exchange them. So we will have a heart-to-heart moment. So you can give your heart and receive a heart from someone here.
And that's part of our ritual. So don't forget your heart. And if you don't have a heart, don't worry. Someone will give you one. We'll arrange it. We have the heart donation program going on. So that's what it is. Let's slowly, without rushing, help us to get to outside and make the photo and heart-to-heart moment. Thank you.
I'm smiling.
Maybe a video.
A video.
Why don't we sail and do a
Yeah.
Flying, volare.
Oh.